Okay, I have here a real case that I think is very useful for a demonstration of how to use a web page to display information in an interesting way that can be compared later. So, for instance, here I have several images of results of tests applied to a given course. Okay, so you see that some of them start with JRAT and the others with IRAT. And so these are the type of images I'm talking about. Also, they have different sizes. They belong to different years, different courses, different years, and different sizes. So what I want to do is to build a kind of mosaic where all the images are displayed, organized by rows and columns, being the columns the year of each course, and the rows the different type of tests that have been repeated through the years, so that they can be compared. Okay, so the idea is to do the graph only with the IRAT images, which are the last ones. Okay, so I could start by just copying all the names of the images into a web page, but I'll try to do something faster. Okay, I will use the command line to build a list of all the files that I want. Okay, so first of all, I have the command line here on the left. I will just copy paste the address to locate with a change directory cd command in the directory that I'm working. So now I'm going to execute a dir command, a directory command that shows us the contents of this directory. So now I want to convert this dir command into a list. So in the dir command, I see all the files, the JRATs, some that say questionario teórico, JRATs and IRATs, but I only want the IRATs. So I'm going to select IRAT asterisk dot asterisk or asterisk dot PNG to be more precise. And this gives me the list only of the IRAT files. Okay, that's fine, but I don't want the list in this format that gives me the dates and the times and the size of the files. I just want a list of the file names that I can use later. So I'm going to repeat the command, but now I'm going to add /b. That is a parameter that turns the list into just a list of the file names. And now I'm going to redirect using a greater than sign the result of this directory output to a file that I'm going to call mosaic.html, and this is going to be the basis of the HTML mosaic that I want to build with the images. Okay, so this is all I have to do with the command line, and here I have a mosaic.html file. It's not actually an HTML file yet, but it's just a list of all the files that I want to include. So I have the list here. Fine. So now, first of all, there are some images which are repeated, but in different sizes. You see here that I have two images. These are the same, but the second one that says small is a smaller version of the other image. So I'm going to eliminate all the small ones, which are just a couple of them which are repeated, because I don't want them. Okay, so far so good. So what I want to do is to create an image tag for each of these files. So I'm going to write first the idea of the code. the template. So I want to write something like image. I'm going to add some width to the image. I don't know, the width can be 400 pixels or maybe a little bit more, 600. And then the source attribute. And here comes the name of the image. And then I close quotation marks, and then I close the tag. Okay, and these image tags should be included within TD, table data cells of a table that I'm going to build. So I'm going to include the TD/TD tags. Okay, so that's fine. So the idea now is that, but by some find and replace, I will convert these image names into some HTML encoding. So since all of them start with IRAT, I'm going to first of all, I'm going to select what I want to put before. That is everything up to source equal quotation mark. So I press Ctrl C for copying, and then I press Ctrl H for a find and replace. So I'm looking for IRAT, and now I paste what I just copied. So I want to replace IRAT by all this code, and obviously the word IRAT, because I don't want to lose that part. Okay, so I make sure that I'm not going to spoil anything with this replacement, which I'm not in this case. So I'm confident on that. So I press replace all. And you see that I've just created the start of all these table data cells. TD, image, width. I made a mistake that I'm just realizing. Width is with TH, so I will repair this using the same method. Okay, so I just completed the first part of this HTML tagged images. Now I'm going to look for with HT, and I will replace, sorry, with HT by the proper word with TH. So I'm going to press replace all. The only one that was not replaced was the first, the template. So now this is correct. Okay, so this is correct. Fine. And now I need to put the final part for this tag. So I see that all the lines end with .png. So there is no problem in searching for .png and replace this by .png and the rest of the encoding, the quotation marks and all of that. So I press replace all, and then I have all the table data cells already tagged. So you see that I've almost made a table out of a list of file names very fast by using find and replace. What else? Well, I have to encode the rest of the file, HTML, body, I can include some background color here. Because I'm working in dark mode, so this will avoid the images to appear on a black background, and table, obviously, to start the table. And I have to close all this at the bottom, so I just copy paste the whole thing. I have to change the order of the tags, obviously, and I have to add the slash to make them closing tags, and obviously eliminate the attributes here. So I have all the openings and closings of the tags. So I have an HTML file with a body and a table and the table data cells. I still need the table rows. So I need to think of where do I include table rows. So my idea was to include all the exercises of the same type. You see that some says capability maturity models. We have two with CMM. We have two with the critical software. We have two with metrics and so on. I still have to fix a few things like these letters. There should be an E here instead of an E with a tilde. This was just done by using the dir command as a shortcut. So I have to do some fixes. But anyway, I need to split this into rows. So the rows would separate the different types of exercise. So I have two exercises for the capability maturity model, two for the crisis, two for metrics, and so on. So now I will just copy paste this ending of a TR and the starting of the next TR, and I will go over the places where I want to separate this and just paste the thing. So for instance, here we end the metrics group of images, and then we have, oh no, sorry, I'm going to undo this. Delete. I had another metrics here, so we have three images for the metrics. And before patents, here I have to put the table row split, and here before risk analysis, and we have three images for risk analysis, and then we start with software configuration management, and there are three for that. And then software quality assurance, there are three actually. And teleworking, there are three. And testing is the last, and there are two images. So you see that by just copy pasting the slash table row and the table row tags, which are the closing of the previous row and the starting of the next row, I saved a lot of time. And then I need to add one more table row closing. So basically, I have the table with all the table rows. You see it here, and I can check with this editor, the Notepad++, if I put the cursor on a tag, if there is a corresponding closing tag underneath, everything gets painted in red. So I can double check that the body has a closing, the table has a closing, all the table rows have a closing, the TDs, and so on. So by simply copy pasting things, I've just created a file, an HTML file, which I can display now by double clicking on it. I'm going to open the browser. So well, here I have a mosaic of the different graphs that can be compared side by side. I mean, this is not finished yet. I just have the mosaic with the different graphs, but I have to add more things. Well, now I'm going to add a table header to the table, so I need to first include a table row and the closing tag for the table row, and then some th tags for the table header cells. I want to make a table with three columns, so I need three headings. The first one is going to be the three are going to be the different courses, the different years, 2017-18, 18-19, and 19-20. If I find, okay, you see that I'm just copy pasting. So the purpose of this exercise is to show how to speed up HTML encoding by copy pasting. So now I have the heading. I'm going to open the file again. So now you see the headings up here. I'm going to add a border temporarily, just to make it easy to grasp where the cells are. You see, I don't very much like tables with borders, but during the coding, the encoding, it's good to do so because you can see the in which position is which element of the table. Okay, so well, this was basically the idea, but there is more to this. You see that in some years I have 2 images instead of 3. So I have to make sure that the first image belongs to 2017, the second to 2018. I should add td / td an empty cell in the empty place. It's not necessary if the empty place is the last one of the row, but it's not a bad idea just in case I want to include more images for the time when I finish this the current course. So in this case, no, in this case it's fine. I have 3 images for metrics, and in the following I have just 2, and in the next I have 3 images and 3 images. I see it here in the, so just the last one has only 2 images. Okay. No, it is not here. Sorry, it is here. That's fine. Okay. So if I reload the file, you won't see an amazing change. Just that there is something in an empty cell instead of just nothing, a hole in the graph. Fine. So well, I can add a lot more things, but one of the things I would like to add is some TD cell at the beginning with the name of the topic of the graph. So the first one is the capability maturity model. So I'm going to just, what I'm going to do is to just quickly copy paste empty cells at the beginning of each row. See, and then I will fill those with the name of the different exercises. Actually, the graph belongs to questionnaires done by Moodle. So these are distribution graphs of the marks obtained by the students in different years in different tests for different topics. So the second is for crisis, and the third is for metrics, and so on. And this is for patents, and the next is for risk analysis, and risk analysis, and the next is for software configuration management, and the next is for software quality assurance, and the next is for teleworking, and the last is for testing. Okay. Okay, so now you see that I have the graph. I have I have something wrong here. I should ask at least an empty th tag at the beginning, because you see that the headings of the different columns are misplaced. So going back to this, I'm going to add here some th tag so th tag slash th tag, and this will fix the the graph. So I reload. Okay, so I have one column per year. Now I'm going to show it in black color. Okay, this is better. So I have one column for every course and the name of the topic here. So I can, for instance, compare the results in different years. Okay, finally, what I can do to make the table looks nicer is simply to copy some styles that I have here for a table from another file. And I have to include this head style section. I could have used an external style sheet, but this is a set of internal styles. And also I have to use the class TF table for the whole set. So I'm going to copy all of this from head to the starting of the table. Well, I will copy the whole thing up to table, and I'm going back to my version of it, and I'm going to paste the thing here. Now I will save this file and reload it. So you see that now the table has some colors and well, a different rendering. See that when one of the things that this style does is that when I place a cursor on top of each of the images, it highlights the image I'm pointing to. Okay. I could also change the size of the letter to make it bigger by just modifying the style sheet here. So instead of, for instance, it's font type 12, I can put something like 32, and well, this is a general font type for the table, and there is a font type for the table headers that I can use also 32. And for the table data, there is a size, but yes, I have to also make it bigger for the descriptions of the rows. So if I save this and reload, okay, you see that now the letters are bigger. Okay, so now they are readable, and this is fine. Okay, so now for instance, we compare the results of the telework test in 2017, 18, 18, 19, and 19, 20, side by side, and so on with the different topics. Okay, to make the table look nicer, we can change a few things. For instance, we can add here in the TF table style font family colon Arial, which I prefer to Times New Roman, that is the default. So I'm going to save this, reload. Now we see that the font type changed. And I want the headings to be centered. So now I look for TF table, TH, table header. And here it says text align left. So I'm going to change left to center. Okay, so now the headers are centered. And I actually don't like the orange background of the graphs. So this is fine for the headings, but not for the rest of the graph. So I will look for TF table, table row, and instead of this background color, I'm going to put white. So I could just write a white or FF, FF, FF. That is the hexadecimal number code for white. And now this is much better, and this is the table I wanted. Okay, so this is all. This was the purpose of the exercise. to show you how we can start with a folder containing a set of images, do some command line commands to obtain a list of the names of the files, of the image files that we want to include into a web page, and then create the encoding of the web page in a big part by doing find and replace. So this speeds up the encoding to finally obtain a table, a mosaic of all the graphs in a presentable way, adequate for comparison. So there is an original idea with some information architecture in the beginning of this that was displaying all these distribution tables side by side, ordered by year in the columns and by topic in the sense of the rows. So this is it.